Folks in Deadwood Creek say I died 3 winters ago. They're not wrong. I'm just the body that's still walking. My hands know the work even when my mind doesn't. Leather and thread, awl and needle, the familiar bite of wax coating my fingertips. The saddle shop smells like it always has. Oil and earth and something else I can't name. Maybe it's just the scent of time passing without me noticing. Outside, the wind howls like it's been doing for days. Wyoming winter doesn't ask permission. It just takes what it wants and leaves you with whatever's left. I don't look up when the door crashes open. Don't need to. I know the sound of Marshal Lucas Grant's boots, heavy and purposeful, tracking snow across my clean floor. Coal. I keep stitching. The leather needs to be perfect. Everything needs to be perfect because if it's not, I have to think. And thinking leads to remembering. And remembering leads to that place I can't go back to. Cole, we got a situation. If it's about the Henderson kid stealing horses again, not my problem. It's about a woman. My hands stop, just for a second. But Grant notices. He notices everything. Says she's your mail-order bride. The needle slips, cuts through the pad of my thumb instead of the leather. Blood wells up, dark and quick, but I don't feel it. Haven't felt much of anything in 3 years. I didn't order a bride. Grant shifts his weight. I can hear the snow melting off his coat, dripping onto my floor. Well, somebody using your name did. She's at the station right now, half frozen, with 3 trunks and a letter signed by you. 3 years. 3 years of blessed numbness, of routine and work and the kind of silence that doesn't ask questions. And now this. I set the leather down slow and deliberate. My hands are steady. They're always steady now. It's the only part of me that still works right. Show me. The walk to the station isn't long. Nothing in Deadwood Creek is far from anything else. But every step feels like I'm walking through water. The cold bites at the scar on my left cheek, that long line that runs from temple to jaw. People say it makes me look dangerous. I think it just makes me look like what I am. Someone who didn't move fast enough when it mattered. The station is barely more than a platform with a roof. The train's already gone, leaving nothing but tracks in the snow and a pile of luggage that looks like it belongs in Boston, not Wyoming. And there she is. She's standing with her back to me, arms wrapped around herself, wearing a dress so thin I can see her shaking from 20 feet away. The blue fabric is all wrong for this place. Too delicate, too hopeful. The kind of thing you wear when you think the world is going to be kind. I stop. Watch her for a moment. She hasn't hurt us yet, over the wind. She's small. That's the first thing I notice. Small and trying very hard to be invisible, which is impossible when you're the only splash of color in a world gone white with winter. "Miss?" Grant calls out. She turns. Her face is red from cold, nose running, hair coming loose from whatever fancy pins she tried to use. Not beautiful in the way men usually talk about women, but real. That's the word that comes to mind. Real in a way that makes my chest hurt. Her eyes find mine. They're wide and dark and full of something I recognize because I see it every morning in my shaving mirror. Fear mixed with stubborn determination not to show it. "Mr. Winters?" Her voice shakes, not just from cold. She takes a step toward me. That's when I see it happening in slow motion, the way you see a horse about to spook or a rope about to snap. Her foot catches on the hem of her dress. Her arms windmill for balance. She lurches forward and slams straight into the support post of the station's overhang. The impact sends a sheet of snow sliding off the roof. It lands on her head with a soft thump. For 2 seconds, nobody moves. She stands there, completely covered in white powder. Her hat sits crooked. A chunk of snow slides off her nose and plops onto her shoulder. She blinks. Once. Twice. And I laugh. The sound rips out of my throat like something foreign, like my body doesn't remember how to make it anymore and has to relearn the mechanics on the spot. It's not a polite chuckle or a quiet snort. It's a full, genuine laugh that shakes my shoulders and makes my ribs ache. I can't stop. Grant stares at me like I've grown a second head. A woman passing by actually stops walking, drops her basket. Another man coming out of the general store freezes mid-step because Cole Winters doesn't laugh. Hasn't laughed in 3 years, 2 months, and 17 days. The whole town knows it. They count the days like a drought. They're all praying will end. And this woman, this stranger covered in snow, looking absolutely ridiculous, has just broken it. I fight to get control back, force the laughter down until it's just a smile I can't quite kill. My face feels strange. The muscles aren't used to moving this way anymore. She's staring at me now, wiping snow off her face with shaking hands. "I'm sorry," she says. "I'm usually not this. I am, but—" She stops, takes a breath that I can see shudder through her whole body. "My name is Rose Dalton." She holds out a letter with fingers so cold they're almost blue. I take it. The paper is good quality, expensive. The handwriting is neat and careful. Feminine almost. Not mine. "Dear Miss Dalton," I read out loud, "I am a rancher in Wyoming territory seeking a respectable woman for marriage. I can offer a good home, honest work, and a fresh start. If you're willing, come to Deadwood Creek by December 15th. Yours in faith, Cole Winters." The date at the bottom is from 3 months ago. I look up at her. I didn't write this. Something dies in her eyes, just for a second. Then she pulls herself together with the kind of control that tells me she's had practice at it. I understand. I can go back. The next train east doesn't run for 8 days. Storm's coming. We stand there, me holding the letter, her trying not to cry, the wind picking up between us. Grant clears his throat. "Cole, she can't stay at the boarding house. It's full up with minors." I should say no. Should hand her some money for the ticket back and walk away. Go back to my shop and my leather and my quiet life where nothing hurts because nothing touches me. But I'm looking at her face, at the way she's not begging or pleading or making promises. Just standing there accepting whatever comes next, like she's used to doors closing in her face, like she's used to disappointment. And something about that, about the resignation in her shoulders, makes me think of myself, of the way I've been accepting my own kind of closed doors for 3 years. Fine. The word comes out rougher than I mean it to. She can stay in my spare room until the train comes. But that's it. Her eyes go wide. "Thank you, Mr. Winters. I promise I won't be any trouble." As she says it, she bends to pick up one of her bags. The handle breaks. The bag falls open. Clothes spill out into the snow. She tries to catch them, steps on her own hem, and nearly goes down again, only catches herself by grabbing onto Grant's arm. I press my lips together to keep from smiling again. Right, no trouble. The walk back to my house is slow. She can barely move in that dress, and the cold has her stumbling every few steps. I carry 2 of her trunks. Grant carries the 3rd. She follows behind with a carpet bag and what's left of her dignity. People watch from windows. I can feel their eyes, can already hear the gossip spreading like fire through dry grass. Cole Winters brought home a woman. Cole Winters smiled. Cole Winters laughed. By nightfall, the whole territory will know. My house sits at the edge of town where the buildings start giving way to open land. I built it 6 years ago with my own hands. 2 stories. Solid. Built to last. Built for a family I don't have anymore. I kick the door open and set the trunks down in the front hall. The house is cold. I don't keep the fires going high. No point when it's just me. Rose steps inside and stops, looks around with those dark eyes taking in everything. The place is clean. I'll give it that. Clean and empty and exactly what it is. A place where someone stopped living and just started existing. "It's nice," she says quietly. "It's functional. Spare rooms upstairs, 2nd door. I'll get a fire going." She nods. Doesn't move. Just stands there, dripping melted snow onto my floor and looking lost. I head to the fireplace in the main room and start building up the fire. The wood is dry. Catches quick. Soon there's heat radiating out, filling the space with something that feels almost like warmth. "Why did you laugh?" I look over my shoulder. She's moved closer to the fire, hands held out toward it. Because you looked ridiculous. A small smile touches her mouth. I get that a lot. The stuttering. I turn back to the fire. You always had it? Her smile disappears. Since I was 12. Gets worse when I'm nervous. I didn't mean it as criticism, but I can hear how it landed, heavy, like I just pointed out something she's been trying to hide. Wasn't criticizing, just asking. Silence settles between us, the kind that's not comfortable but not hostile either. Just two strangers trying to figure out how to exist in the same space. Can I make dinner? She asks finally. I'd like to earn my keep. Suit yourself. She disappears into the kitchen. I stay by the fire, listening to the sounds of her moving around. Cabinets opening, water running, the clank of a pot on the stove. Normal sounds. The kind I haven't heard in this house in 3 years. The kind that make my chest feel tight. By the time she calls me to the table, it's full dark outside. The wind is really howling now. Storm's here. The soup she's made is simple. Potatoes and salt pork and something green I think might be herbs. It's hot. That's the important part. We eat in silence for a while. I watch her out of the corner of my eye. The way she holds her spoon careful, like she's afraid of spilling. The way she keeps glancing at me and then away. So, I set my spoon down. Who wrote that letter, if not me? She stares at her bowl. I don't know, but I needed to believe it was real. Why? Because I had nowhere else to go. The words hang there, simple and terrible. Family? Dead 3 years ago. Typhoid. Something shifts in my chest. 3 years, same as me. What were you doing in Boston? She hesitates, picks up her spoon, sets it back down. I was married. I wasn't expecting that. Husband let you answer a mail order bride ad? He died last year. I'm sorry. She looks at me then, really looks at me. And there's something in her eyes that's not grief. It's relief, mixed with guilt for feeling it. Don't be. He wasn't a good man. The way she says it tells me everything I need to know. He hurt you. It's not a question. She nods once, quick and sharp, every day. We finish eating without talking. She clears the plates, moving around my kitchen like she's trying to memorize where everything goes. I watch her wash the dishes, watch her dry them, watch her put them away in exactly the right places, even though I never told her where anything belongs. When I saw that letter, she says without turning around, it felt like God was giving me a way out, even if it was a lie. And if I send you back? She turns then, meets my eyes, and for the first time since she arrived, there's no stutter in her voice. Then I'll find another way, because I'm never going back to being that scared again. In that moment I see it. The same thing I see in the mirror every morning. Someone who's been broken and is desperately trying to hold the pieces together. Someone who decided that surviving is all they have left. You can stay, I hear myself say, until the train runs, until you figure out what comes next. Thank you, I nod. Head for the stairs. I'll be up early, work to do. Mr. Winters? I stop. Don't turn around. You asked why I stutter more around you. Yeah? It's not because you scare me. It's the other kind of nervous. I don't know what to say to that, so I don't say anything. Just continue up the stairs to my room and close the door behind me. I don't sleep. Lie there listening to the storm and thinking about 3 years ago, about Evelyn, about how I was 30 miles away, tracking a wounded elk when she went into labor, about the storm that came in and blocked the pass, about how by the time I got back, she was already gone, her and the baby both, about how the last thing she did was ask for me, call my name, wonder where I was. I touched the scar on my face, got it riding back in a blind panic, horse spooked, threw me into a rock face, split my cheek open. By the time I made it home, I was covered in blood and snow and too late for anything that mattered. Every morning, I look in the mirror and see that scar, see the moment I failed them, see the man who wasn't there when his wife needed him most. I must fall asleep eventually, because next thing I know, it's dawn and there's a smell coming from downstairs that I don't recognize at first. Bread baking. I get dressed slow, wash my face in the cold water from the basin, stare at my reflection for longer than I need to. When I come down, Rose is in the kitchen surrounded by flour. It's everywhere, on her dress, in her hair, dusted across the table like snow. She's kneading dough with the kind of determination that says she has no idea what she's doing, but she's going to do it anyway. Need help? She jumps, spins around, sees me and tries to smile, but it comes out more like a grimace. I'm sorry, I'm ruining your kitchen. It's just flour. She looks down at the mess, at her hands covered in sticky dough, and something in her face crumbles, just for a second. Then she pulls it back together, but I saw it, that moment of defeat. I move to the counter, stand next to her, close enough that I can smell the flour and something underneath it. Lavender, maybe. Here, I dust some flour off her hands. You're overworking it. Needs a gentle touch. I show her the motion. Fold and press, fold and press. My hands remember even if I don't think about it. She watches, tries to copy, gets it wrong, tries again. We work in silence. But it's different from last night. There's something settling between us, not comfort exactly, but maybe the beginning of it. You're good at this, she says. My wife taught me. Her hands stop moving. You were married? 3 years ago. She died in childbirth. I'm so sorry. We keep kneading. The rhythm of it is almost meditative. Push and fold, push and fold. Is that why you don't smile? Why you seemed so empty when you saw me? Yes. More silence. The bread dough is starting to come together properly now. My husband didn't die. My hands stop. I lied. I look at her. She's staring down at the dough like it's the most important thing in the world. Why lie? Because if anyone knew I ran away from a marriage, they'd send me back. And if he finds me... She rolls up her sleeve. The bruises are old, yellowing at the edges, but there are newer ones too. Purple and blue, fingerprints, 5 of them, wrapped around her wrist like a shackle. My jaw locks tight. Does he know where you are? Not yet, but he has money, connections. He'll hire someone to find me. How long do you think you have? Maybe a month? Maybe less? I look at those bruises, at the way her hands are shaking even though she's trying to hide it, at the fear in her eyes that she's trying so hard not to show. I think about Evelyn, about how she always helped strays, wounded birds, orphaned calves, lost travelers. She never could stand to see something hurting and not try to fix it. I think about the last 3 years, about the half-life I've been living, about the guilt that eats at me every morning. And I think about this woman standing in my kitchen covered in flour, running from a monster, trying so damn hard to be brave. Then we'd better make it convincing. She looks up at me. Make what convincing? The marriage. If you're legally my wife, he can't touch you. Her mouth opens, closes, opens again. Why would you do this for me? Call it paying a debt. To who? To someone who can't be repaid anymore. I can see her mind working, see her trying to figure out if this is real or if I'm playing some kind of game. What are the terms? Smart. That's good. She should be careful. Marriage on paper only. Separate rooms. You help with housekeeping. I provide protection and a home. When it's safe, if you want to leave, you can. And if I want to stay? The question catches me off guard. I hadn't thought that far ahead. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. She nods slow, looks down at her flour-covered hands, then back at me. Okay. Okay? Yes, I'll marry you, Cole Winters. The way she says my name, steady and clear with no stutter, makes something warm spread through my chest. Something I thought died 3 years ago. We'll go see the marshal today. Make it official. She nods again. And then she does something I'm not expecting. She smiles. A real smile. Small but genuine. Thank you. I nod and step back. Put distance between us before I do something stupid like reach out and touch her face, wipe away the flour on her cheek. I need to go see my brother. Your brother? Yeah, I have a feeling he's the one who sent that letter. Her eyes widen. Oh. Oh is right. I grab my coat and head for the door. Need the cold air, need to clear my head. Need to not be standing in a kitchen that smells like bread and lavender with a woman who makes me feel things I have no right to feel. Nash's barber shop is on Main Street. I can see him through the window, sweeping up hair from the morning customers. He looks up when I come through the door, sees my face, and knows exactly why I'm here. Morning, brother. Don't. I close the door behind me. Lock it. Don't you dare play innocent with me. He sets the broom down. So she arrived. You want to tell me what the hell you were thinking? I was thinking you're killing yourself, that you don't eat, don't sleep, don't talk to anyone, except when you have to. That's not your business. You're my brother. That makes it my business. I cross the room, get right in his face. You had no right. You're right, I didn't. But I was desperate. Desperate? It's been 3 years, Cole. I grab him by the shirt. Slam him against the wall hard enough to rattle the bottles on the shelf. Don't you dare say it. Don't you dare tell me how long it's been. Nash doesn't fight back. Just looks at me with those eyes that are the same color as mine. The eyes we got from our mother. Evelyn wouldn't have wanted this for you. You don't get to say what she'd want. You barely knew her. I knew her well enough to know she loved you, and she'd be heartbroken to see what you've become. I want to hit him. Want to break something. Want to rage and scream and make someone hurt the way I hurt every single day. But I can't, because he's right. I let him go. Step back. My hands are shaking. You know what haunts me most? Nash straightens his shirt. Says nothing. I wasn't there. When Evelyn went into labor, I was 30 miles away, tracking a wounded elk. Storm came in, blocked the pass. By the time I got back, my voice cracks. I force it steady. Midwife said she called for me, for hours. Asked where I was, and I wasn't there. I was out hunting game I didn't even need because I was too stupid to realize a storm was coming. Cole? She died thinking I abandoned her. The words hang there, the thing I've never said out loud, the guilt that eats me alive every single day. The baby, our daughter, she lived 2 hours, long enough for me to hold her, not long enough for me to say goodbye properly. Nash's eyes are wet. That wasn't your fault. Then whose fault was it? Nobody's. Sometimes things just happen. I touch my scar without thinking. Got this riding back in a panic. Horse threw me into a rock face. Every time I look in a mirror, I see the moment I failed them. Silence fills the shop. Outside, someone walks by, laughs at something. The sound feels wrong. Like laughter doesn't belong in a world where wives die and babies don't make it through the night. That's why I sent the letter, Nash says quietly. Not to replace Evelyn. No one could, but to give you a reason to try living again. By lying to some poor woman? I didn't lie about you. Everything I wrote, the honor, the hard work, the chance for a good life, that's all true. Except I didn't want a wife. But maybe you need one anyway. I turn away. Look out the window at the street, at the people going about their lives like the world didn't end 3 years ago. Her name's Rose. I know. I wrote to her for months. That stops me. Months? I wanted to find someone good, someone who needed a fresh start as much as you do. I think about the bruises on her arm, about the way she flinches sometimes when I move too fast. She's running from something. Her husband, he hurt her. Nash goes still. She told you that? Showed me. Then I'm glad she came here. Glad you're protecting her. I shake my head. I'm marrying her. Today. Legal. So he can't touch her. Cole, it's the right thing to do. And that's the only reason? I don't answer, because I don't know the answer. Or maybe I do, and I'm not ready to admit it. She made me laugh, I say finally. Fell in the snow and looked so ridiculous, and I laughed. For the first time in 3 years. Nash smiles, small but real. Then maybe this was meant to be after all. Don't start. I'm just saying, don't. I head for the door. Need to get back. Need to check on Rose, make sure she's okay. Make sure she hasn't changed her mind. Cole? I stop. Don't turn around. I'm sorry for interfering, but I'm not sorry she came. I nod once. Then I'm out the door and back into the cold. When I get home, Rose is sitting by the fire. She's cleaned up the kitchen, changed into a different dress, simple gray wool that actually looks warm. Her hair is down. That's the first thing I notice, long and dark and falling over her shoulders in waves. She looks up when I come in. Did you talk to your brother? Yeah. Was he the one? Yeah. Are you angry? I think about that, about Nash's face when I told him about Evelyn, about the guilt in his eyes. No, not anymore, she nods, looks back at the fire. When do we do this, the marriage? Tomorrow. Give the town a day to get used to the idea, stop the worst of the gossip. Will they talk? They'll talk anyway. Might as well give them something true to talk about. She smiles at that. A small private smile that makes her look younger. We spend the rest of the day in careful orbit around each other. She mends some of my shirts that have been waiting months for attention. I work on the leather in my shop. When evening comes, we eat dinner together. Talk about small things, safe things, the weather, the town, how long she was on the train, not about dead spouses or bruises or the fact that we're getting married tomorrow. That night, lying in bed, I stare at the ceiling and wonder what Evelyn would think, if she'd be angry that I'm doing this, if she'd understand. I like to think she would. Evelyn always had a soft heart for people in trouble, but I can't help feeling like I'm betraying her somehow. Like by helping Rose, I'm forgetting Evelyn, even though I know that's not true. You don't forget someone you loved. Not really. They become part of you, part of the fabric of who you are. The question is whether there's room for someone new in a heart that's already full of ghosts. I don't have an answer. Not yet. Morning comes too fast. The town is quiet when we walk to Marshal Grant's office. News has spread. I can feel eyes on us from every window. Ada Morrison is sweeping the porch of her general store. She stops when she sees us, stares open-mouthed. Morning, Ada, I say. She just nods. Can't seem to find words. Grant is waiting for us in his office. Has the papers ready. He looks at me long and hard before speaking. You sure about this, Cole? Yeah. Mighty fast. Sometimes fast is all you've got. He looks at Rose. Miss Dalton, you understand what you're agreeing to? Yes, sir. And you're doing this of your own free will? Nobody's forcing you? Nobody's forcing me. Grant nods slow, picks up his pen. All right then, let's make this official. The ceremony, if you can call it that, takes maybe 5 minutes. Grant reads the legal words, asks if we agree. We do? He signs? We sign? Nash signs as witness, and just like that, Rose Dalton becomes Rose Winters, my wife. On paper, at least. We're walking out when a woman's voice stops us. Well, this is unexpected. I turn. Judith Palmer is standing on the sidewalk, dressed fine as always, looking at Rose like she's something unpleasant she found on her shoe. Judith? Cole? She smiles, but it doesn't reach her eyes. You must be the mail-order bride. How quaint. Rose's hand finds mine. Her palm is cold and damp with nervous sweat. I'm Rose. I'm sure you are, dear. Judith's eyes travel over Rose's worn dress, her simple shoes. Tell me, did Cole mention that he and I have an understanding? I feel Rose go still beside me. We don't have an understanding, Judith. We never did. Really? Because I seem to recall several dinners, several very pleasant conversations about joining our properties. You had hopes. I didn't share them. Judith's smile turned sharp. How romantic. A 3-day courtship. That's enough. Is it? Because I think the town deserves to know what kind of arrangement this really is. The kind that's none of your business. I take Rose's hand, start to move past Judith. She won't last the winter, Judith calls after us. You'll see. City girls never do. Rose's hand tightens in mine, but she doesn't look back. Just keeps walking with her head up and her shoulders straight. When we're far enough away, I stop. You okay? Is she telling the truth about courting? She had hopes. I made no promises. Never led her on. Rose nods. But I can see the doubt in her eyes, the question of what she's gotten herself into. Listen to me. I turn her to face me. I married you to protect you. That's the truth. Whatever Judith thinks was happening between us was all in her head. Okay, you don't believe me. I believe you didn't make promises, but I also believe she wanted you, and now she's angry. Smart. She's right. Can you handle angry? Rose looks at me, and for the first time, I see steel under the softness. I survived 4 years with a man who tried to break me every day. I can handle one angry woman. That night, I lie in bed listening to Rose move around in the room next to mine. Hear her getting ready for sleep, or hear the creak of the bed when she lies down. Hear the soft sound that might be crying but might just be the wind. And I wonder what I've done, if this arrangement will protect her or just put us both in danger, if marrying a stranger was the right choice or the biggest mistake of my life. But then I think about the sound of my own laughter, that strange, forgotten sound that this clumsy woman pulled out of me without even trying. And I think maybe, just maybe, we're both exactly where we need to be, even if neither of us knows it yet. The first morning as husband and wife starts with burned bacon and smoke filling the kitchen. I wake to the smell. For a second, still half asleep, I think the house is on fire. Then I hear the frantic clanging of pans and Rose's voice muttering words I'm pretty sure proper Boston ladies aren't supposed to know. I pull on my clothes and head downstairs. She's standing at the stove, waving a towel at the smoke, her hair falling out of its pins, flour somehow already on her dress, even though it's barely dawn. I'm sorry, she says when she sees me. No stutter this time, just pure mortification. I wanted to make breakfast, and I don't know your stove and everything happened so fast. I look at the pan. The bacon is black. The eggs are somehow both burned and raw. There's something that might have been biscuits, but now looks like charcoal. You ever cook on a wood stove before? No, we had a cook, in Boston. Of course they did. I should have guessed from the dress she arrived in. The trunk's full of things too fine for Wyoming. Come here, she hesitates, then moves to stand beside me at the stove. I can smell the lavender again, stronger today. Must be her soap. Fire's too hot, see? I adjust the damper. You need to feel it, know when to add wood, when to pull back. I show her the motion. How to test the heat with your hand. How to know when the pan is ready. She watches like she's memorizing every movement. Her shoulder brushes mine when she leans in to see better. I step back quick, put distance between us. Try again tomorrow. What about breakfast, I'll make eggs, you make coffee. We work in silence. The kind that's starting to feel less awkward and more like we're just two people existing in the same space without needing to fill it with words. When we sit down to eat, she's got flour in her hair, and I don't tell her. Just watch her try to eat one-handed while holding a book open with the other. What are you reading? She shows me the cover, some novel with a fancy title I don't recognize. Do you read? Used to. Before. Before Evelyn died. Before everything stopped. She nods like she understands, sets the book down. I could read to you, in the evenings, if you want. Maybe. We finish eating, I head to the shop. She stays to clean up. When I come back at midday for lunch, the kitchen is spotless. More than spotless, organized in a way it hasn't been in years. There's bread on the counter, real bread this time. Not great, but edible. And there's a note in her careful handwriting. Gone to general store. Back soon. Rose. I pick up the note. Stare at it longer than I need to. At the way she signed it, just Rose. Not Mrs. Winters, not your wife, just Rose. Something about that feels right. I'm heading back to the shop when I see her coming down the street. She's got a basket over her arm, and she's talking to Ada Morrison. Or rather, Ada is talking at her, while Rose nods and tries to get a word in. Ada sees me. Her eyes light up with the particular gleam of someone who's about to stick their nose where it doesn't belong. Cole Winters, just the man I wanted to see. Ada, your wife here tells me she's never worked a wood stove before. Can you imagine? A grown woman who can't cook. Rose's face goes red. She's staring at the ground like she wants it to open up and swallow her. She's learning. Well, she'd better learn fast. Winter's no time for a man to go hungry. I'm not going hungry. That's not what I hear. Heard smoke pouring out of your house this morning. Nearly called the fire brigade. It was fine. We had it under control. Ada sniffs like she doesn't believe me, turns to Rose. You come by the store tomorrow, dear. I'll show you some simple recipes even a city girl can manage. It's meant to be helpful, I know that. But the way she says city girl makes it sound like an insult. Rose just nods. Thank you, Mrs. Morrison. That's very kind. Ada pats her arm, gives me a look that says we'll talk later, whether I want to or not. Then she's off down the street, probably to spread the news that Cole Winter's new wife can't cook. I'm sorry, Rose says when we're alone. For what? For embarrassing you. Everyone's going to think you married an incompetent fool. I don't care what everyone thinks. She looks up at me, studies my face like she's trying to figure out if I'm telling the truth. Really? Really? What they think doesn't change anything. You're learning. That's all that matters. Something in her face softens. Thank you. We walk back to the house together. Her basket is full of things from the store. Flour and sugar and coffee. A bar of soap that smells like roses. Some fabric that looks like it might be for a new dress. You didn't have to buy all this. I wanted to. I have a little money. From before. And I want to contribute. You don't need to. Yes, I do. This arrangement works both ways, remember? You protect me, I help with the house. She's right. But it still feels strange. Having someone spend money on my house, on things for us to share. That night she makes stew. It's better than breakfast. Not good, but better. I eat every bite and tell her so. She smiles like I just gave her the finest compliment in the world. After dinner she brings out her book, sits in the chair across from me by the fire and starts to read out loud. Her voice is soft, musical. The stutter mostly disappears when she reads, like the words on the page give her permission to speak without fear. I'm not really listening to the story, just the sound of her voice, the way it fills the empty spaces in the house. When she finishes the chapter, she looks up. Should I keep going? If you want. She reads 3 more chapters. I work on a piece of leather. We exist in that space together. Comfortable silence broken only by her voice and the crackling fire. This is dangerous, I think. This feeling of peace, of rightness. Because peace can be taken away. Rightness can be shattered. I learned that 3 years ago. 3 days pass like this. We fall into a routine. She wakes early and tries to cook breakfast with varying degrees of success. I work in the shop. We eat lunch together. I go back to work. She manages the house. We have dinner. She reads. We go to our separate rooms. On the 4th day, Nash comes by. Rose is kneading bread when he knocks. She's getting better at it. The dough actually looks like dough, this time instead of a sticky mess. Nash, I say when I open the door. Brother, thought I'd check in. See how married life is treating you. It's fine. He pushes past me into the house, sees Rose at the counter, and his whole face lights up. You must be Rose. I'm Nash, the troublemaker who started all this. Rose wipes her hands on her apron. Mr. Winters. Please, Nash. We're family now. Family. The word hangs there awkward and strange. Would you like coffee? Rose asks. I'd love some. We sit at the kitchen table. Rose pours coffee and sets out some of the bread from yesterday. Nash takes a piece and makes a show of savoring it. This is delicious. Rose blushes. It's not that good? It's better than anything Cole ever made. Man burns water. I do not burn water. You burned soup once. Once. And I was distracted. Nash grins at Rose. He's always distracted, lost in his own head. They talk easy. Nash has always been good with people, could charm birds out of trees if he wanted to. He asks Rose about Boston, about the journey west, about her family. She answers careful, leaves out the parts about her husband, about why she really came here. I watch them talk and feel something strange in my chest, something that might be jealousy, but that doesn't make sense. Nash is my brother, Rose is my wife, in name only. There's no reason for jealousy, but it is there anyway. Cole tells me you're quite the reader, Nash says. I do enjoy books. There wasn't much else to do in Boston. After your husband died. She nods. Doesn't meet his eyes. Nash glances at me. I shake my head slightly. Not the time, not the place. Well, Nash says, standing up, I should get back to the shop. But Rose, if you ever need anything, anything at all, you come find me, all right? Thank you. That's very kind. After he leaves, Rose turns to me. He's nice. He's nosy. He cares about you. Sometimes caring and meddling look the same. She smiles at that, goes back to her bread. I watch her work. The way her hands move confident now, the way she stopped jumping every time I walk into a room. She's settling in, getting comfortable. That should be good, should be what I want. So why does it feel like a problem? That evening, Judith Palmer shows up at our door. Rose answers it. I hear her voice from the shop out back, polite but cautious. Mrs. Palmer, what a surprise. I thought I'd pay a proper visit. Welcome you to Deadwood Creek. I set down my tools and head inside. Judith is standing in the front hall, dressed fine as always, looking around the house like she's cataloging everything. Judith. Cole. I hope I'm not intruding. Little late for that. She smiles, sharp. I brought pie. Apple. Your favorite. She holds out a pie that looks perfect. Too perfect, like it was made to prove a point. Rose takes it. That's very kind, thank you. Of course, I imagine you need all the help you can get. Learning to run a household is difficult. I'm managing. I'm sure you are, dear. The way she says dear makes it sound like anything but. Won't you come in? Rose asks. Because she's too polite not to, Judith glides into the sitting room, arranges herself in the best chair like she belongs there, like this is her house, and Rose is the intruder. So, Judith says, tell me about yourself, Rose. What did your family do in Boston? My father was a banker. How prestigious. And your mother? She was a teacher. Before she married. How progressive. And what brought you all the way out here to answer an advertisement for a husband? The question is innocent enough, but there's a trap in it. I can see Rose trying to figure out how to answer without lying, but without telling the whole truth either. I wanted a fresh start. From what? Judith, I say, warning in my voice. I'm just making conversation, Cole. Trying to get to know your wife. No, you're not. You're fishing. Judith's smile doesn't waver. Don't be ridiculous. I'm simply curious about this woman you married so suddenly. We all are. Then you can all stay curious. The town has a right to know who's living among them. The town has a right to mind their own business. Rose stands up. Her hands are shaking, but her voice is steady. Mrs. Palmer, I appreciate you coming by, and the pie, but I'm very tired. It's been a long week. It's a dismissal, polite but firm. Judith's eyes narrow. She stands slow, smooths her skirt. Of course, you must be exhausted. Learning to be a wife is so demanding. She moves to the door, stops, turns back. You know, Cole and I were very close before you came. I just want to make sure you understand what you're stepping into. I understand perfectly. Do you? Because Cole Winters is not an easy man. He's broken, haunted, and no amount of wifely devotion is going to fix that. I'm not trying to fix him. Then what are you trying to do? Survive, same as everyone else. The words hang there, true and raw. Judith's face goes cold. Well, good luck with that. She leaves. The door closes behind her with a sharp click. Rose stands there for a long moment. Then her knees buckle. I catch her before she hits the floor, pull her against my chest, feel her shaking. I'm sorry, she whispers. I'm sorry I couldn't handle that better. You handled it fine. She hates me. She's angry. There's a difference. Is there? I help her to the couch, sit beside her, not touching, but close. Judith wanted something I couldn't give her, a future, a partnership, but I was never interested. I made that clear. But she didn't believe you. No, she thought I just needed time, that eventually I'd see sense and marry her and combine our properties and live some version of the life she'd planned out. And then I showed up, and then you showed up, and ruined all her carefully laid plans. Rose laughs. It's a small sound, bitter. I'm good at ruining things. That's not what I meant. Isn't it, though? I ruined breakfast. I can barely walk across a room without falling. I show up in your life unannounced and turn everything upside down. Rose. And now I've made an enemy out of the most powerful woman in town. Judith isn't as powerful as she thinks. She has friends, influence. She can make my life miserable. Then we'll handle it, together. She looks at me, really looks at me. And I see the fear in her eyes, the same fear I saw that first day at the station. Why are you being so kind to me? I told you I'm paying a debt. To your wife. To Evelyn, yes. Tell me about her. The request catches me off guard. No one asks about Evelyn. They all tiptoe around the subject like saying her name will shatter me. What do you want to know? What was she like? I lean back. Stare at the ceiling. Try to find words for something I've never had to explain. She was good. That's the best way I can describe it. Just fundamentally good. She saw the best in people, even when they didn't deserve it. She helped anyone who needed it. Never asked for anything in return. She sounds perfect. She wasn't. She was stubborn, had a temper when something wasn't fair, couldn't cook worth a damn. Rose laughs at that, a real laugh. She would have liked you, I say, before I can stop myself. You think? Yeah. She liked strays, broken things, things that needed help. So I'm a stray now? Aren't you? She considers that, nods. I suppose I am. We sit in silence. The fire crackles. Outside the wind picks up. Cole? Yeah? The man I was married to, Howard. He wasn't like you. I wait. Don't push. Just let her talk. He was charming at first, attentive, said all the right things. My father approved of the match, said Howard had prospects, a future. She pulls her sleeves down over her wrists, a habit I'm starting to recognize, hiding the bruises even though they're faded now. The first time he hit me was 3 months after the wedding. I spilled wine on his shirt at a dinner party. It was an accident. But he said I embarrassed him, made him look foolish in front of his colleagues. My hands curl into fists. I force them to relax. He apologized after, brought me flowers, said it would never happen again. And I believed him because I wanted to believe him, because the alternative was admitting I'd made a terrible mistake. But it did happen again and again. And each time he had a reason. I talked back. I looked at another man. I didn't have dinner ready on time. The reasons stopped mattering after a while. He hit me because he could. Because I was his wife and no one would stop him. Your family? Dead by then? There was no one to tell. No one who would have believed me. Howard was respected, wealthy, a pillar of the community. Who would take the word of a wife over his? I think about that, about a world where a man can hurt a woman and face no consequences because of money and reputation. Makes me sick. How did you get away? A doctor. He examined me after Howard broke 2 of my ribs. Told me if I stayed, the next time would kill me. He helped me, gave me money. Told me about agencies that helped women start over. That's how I found the advertisement. From my brother. From your brother, who I will be eternally grateful to even though he's a meddling fool. I almost smile at that. He is that. Cole? Yeah? I know this is just an arrangement. I know you married me to protect me, and that's all. But I want you to know I'm grateful. More grateful than I can say. You don't have to be grateful. Yes, I do. You saved my life. I gave you a piece of paper. You gave me freedom. The weight of those words settles over us, heavy and true. Rose? Yes? If Howard comes here, if he finds you, I won't let him take you, I promise you that. She reaches out, takes my hand. Her palm is warm against mine. I believe you. We stay like that for a long time, holding hands in the firelight. Not saying anything because there's nothing more to say. This is dangerous, I think again. This feeling of connection, of intimacy that has nothing to do with physical touch and everything to do with 2 broken people recognizing each other. But I don't let go of her hand, and she doesn't let go of mine. A week passes, then 2. We settle into our routine. Rose gets better at cooking. Still burns things occasionally, but less often. She organizes the house, mends clothes, reads to me in the evenings. I work in the shop, bring home money from the saddles I make. Watch her become part of my life without meaning to. People in town are starting to accept it. The gossip has died down. Ada Morrison gives Rose cooking lessons. The school teacher, Mrs. Patterson, invites her to the ladies' circle on Thursdays. She's becoming one of them, a citizen of Deadwood Creek. Not just the mail-order bride anymore. Mrs. Winters, my wife. I'm working late in the shop one night when I hear it, a crash from the house. Then Rose's voice, not scared, just frustrated. I head inside to find her standing in the middle of the kitchen surrounded by broken dishes. What happened? I was trying to reach the good plates on the top shelf for tomorrow. Ada is coming for dinner, and I wanted to use the nice ones, but the chair wobbled, and I fell and grabbed the shelf and pulled half the dishes down with me. She looks like she might cry. Are you hurt? No, just humiliated. I start picking up the pieces. She kneels down to help. Leave it. I'll clean it up. It's my mess. Rose. She stops, looks at me, and I see it. The same thing I saw 2 weeks ago, the determination not to be defeated by her own clumsiness. I'm useless at this, at all of it. I can't cook, I can't clean without breaking things. I can't even walk across a room properly. You're not useless. Then what am I? Learning, same as you've been doing all along. She sits back on her heels, wipes at her eyes with the back of her hand. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing. I can't help it. I've spent 4 years apologizing for existing. It's a hard habit to break. I set down the pieces I'm holding. Move closer to her. You don't have to apologize. Not here, not to me. You exist. That's enough. She looks up at me with those dark eyes that see too much. Is it? Yes. We're close. Closer than we should be. I can see the freckles across her nose, the way her bottom lip is slightly fuller than the top, the pulse beating fast in her throat. I should move back, should put distance between us, should remember that this is an arrangement, protection on paper, nothing more. But I don't move, and neither does she. Cole, she whispers. Then the knock comes, hard and sharp on the front door. We both freeze. It's late, past 9. No one comes calling this late. Another knock, more insistent. I stand up, help Rose to her feet. Stay here. I go to the door. Open it. A man stands on my porch, middle-aged, well-dressed. Everything about him screams money and city and East Coast. Can I help you? I'm looking for Cole Winters. You found him. The man pulls out a card, hands it to me. Detective William Cord, Boston Investigations. My blood goes cold. What's this about? I'm looking for a woman, Rose Dalton. I believe she came through here recently. Behind me, I hear Rose's sharp intake of breath. What's your business with her? Cord smiles. It doesn't reach his eyes. Her husband hired me to bring her home. She's unwell, needs medical attention. Is that what he told you? That's what the situation is, Mr. Winters. And if I told you she's not going anywhere? Then I'd say that's not your decision, sir. A wife belongs with her husband. That's the law. Rose appears beside me. Her face is white, but her voice is steady. I'm not going back. Cord's eyes flick to her, assess her, dismiss her. Mrs. Dalton, your husband is very worried about you. My husband is a liar. That's between you and him. My job is simply to return you home. This is my home now. You've been here 2 weeks. That doesn't make it home. Actually, I say, it does, because Rose isn't Rose Dalton anymore. She's Rose Winters, my wife. Cord's eyebrows rise. Is that so? Legally married, 5 days ago. Marshall Grant officiated. It's all on record. For the first time, Cord looks uncertain. You married her? I did. Awful fast. Sometimes fast is all you've got. Cord's jaw tightens. He looks at Rose, at me, back to Rose. Her husband won't accept this. Her husband doesn't have a choice. She's my wife now, under my protection. And unless you've got legal authority to remove her from my home, I suggest you leave. This isn't over. Yeah, it is. I close the door, lock it, turn to find Rose leaning against the wall, shaking. He found me. I know. What do we do? We don't do anything. You're my wife. Legally, he can't touch that. You don't know Howard. He has money. Connections. He'll find a way. I cross to her, put my hands on her shoulders, make her look at me. Then we'll fight him, together. I promised you I'd protect you. That promise stands. Why? Why are you doing this? Because it's the right thing to do. That's not a reason. It's the only reason I've got right now. She searches my face, looking for something. I don't know if she finds it. I'm scared, I know, but you're not alone. Not anymore. She nods, slow, then faster. Okay. Cole? Yeah? Thank you for lying for me. I didn't lie. The words almost come out. We are married, legally, on paper, in every way that matters to the law. But I don't say them, because there's a difference between married on paper and married in truth, and we both know which one we are. Get some sleep, I say instead. We'll figure out the rest tomorrow. She nods, heads upstairs. I stay in the front room, watch the door, listen for sounds of anyone outside. After an hour, I finally go upstairs, stop outside Rose's room, listen to her breathing on the other side of the door, even and steady. She's asleep. Good. At least one of us can rest. I go to my room, lie down in my clothes, stare at the ceiling, and think about Detective William Cord and his expensive suit and his cold smile. Think about Howard Dalton sitting in Boston hiring men to hunt his wife. Think about Rose's bruises and her stutter and the way she flinches sometimes when I move too fast. Think about the promise I made, to protect her, to keep her safe. I'll keep that promise, whatever it takes. Because somewhere in the last 2 weeks, Rose stopped being just an arrangement, stopped being just a stranger I married to pay a debt to my dead wife. She became something else, something that terrifies me more than Detective Cord or angry husbands or any physical threat. She became someone I care about, and caring about people means you can lose them. I learned that lesson 3 years ago, but maybe, just maybe, it's a lesson worth learning again. The morning after Cord's visit, I wake to find Rose already in the kitchen. She's not cooking, just sitting at the table with her hands wrapped around a cup of cold coffee, staring out the window at nothing. You sleep at all? She jumps. Hadn't heard me come down. A little. Liar. I can see the shadows under her eyes, the way her shoulders are drawn tight with tension. I pour myself coffee, sit across from her. Wait. He'll come back, she says finally. Probably. With legal papers, or the law, or something I can't fight. Then we'll fight it together. She looks at me, really looks at me. Why are you so calm? Because panic doesn't help. We need a plan. What kind of plan? The kind where we make this marriage look real, convince anyone who asks that this isn't a sham, that you're my wife in every way that matters. Her cheeks flush. Cole, I don't think... I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about appearances. We need to be seen together, act like a couple, make it so obvious that we're married that no judge in Wyoming would believe otherwise. She sets down her cup. And how do we do that? We start living like husband and wife, not just in name, in practice. The next 3 days we spend making ourselves visible. We go to church on Sunday, sit together in the front pew. I hold her hand during the hymns. She leans against my shoulder during the sermon. After service, we stand outside and talk to everyone. Accept congratulations on our marriage. Smile and nod and play the part of newlyweds. Judith Palmer watches from across the churchyard. Her face is stone. On Monday, Rose comes to the shop with lunch. Brings sandwiches and coffee and stays to watch me work. She asks questions about the leather, about the tools, about how long it takes to make a saddle. People walk by, see her there, see us together. Word spreads faster than fire. Tuesday evening, we host Nash and Ada Morrison for dinner. Rose makes pot roast that's only slightly burned. Ada brings pie. Nash brings whiskey. We sit around my table and I watch Rose laugh at Nash's stories, watch her talk to Ada about recipes and sewing, watch her become part of this life, watch myself become part of it too. Wednesday morning, Marshall Grant stops by. Heard you had a visitor the other night? Whose travels fast. Always does. You want to tell me what that was about? I look at Rose. She nods slightly. Rose's first husband. Hired a detective to find her. Grant's face goes hard. First husband, she was married before? To a man who beat her. She left him, came here to start over. And you married her knowing this? I married her because of it. Grant leans back in his chair, studies both of us. That's mighty noble of you, Cole. It's the right thing. Right and legal aren't always the same thing. If her first marriage wasn't properly ended, your marriage to her might not be valid. Rose goes pale. What? If you're still legally married to this man in Boston, you can't be legally married to Cole, not until there's a divorce or annulment. But I left him. That doesn't end a marriage, not in the eyes of the law. I feel the ground shifting under me. So what are you saying? I'm saying you might want to get ahead of this. File for divorce on Rose's behalf. Document the abuse. Make a case that would hold up if this goes to court. Will it go to court? Depends on how much money this husband has and how determined he is to get her back. We spend the afternoon with Grant going over everything. Rose's story. The bruises. The doctor in Boston who told her to leave. Every detail we can think of that might help. Grant writes it all down. His face gets darker with every word. This man sounds like a real piece of work. That's one way to put it, Rose says quietly. All right, I'll send this to a lawyer I know in Cheyenne. See what our options are. In the meantime, you two keep doing what you're doing. Act married. Be married. Make it real in every way you can. After he leaves, Rose turns to me. I'm sorry. For what? For dragging you into this mess. For making your life complicated. My life was already complicated. Not like this. Rose. I take her hand. It's become easier over the last few days. This casual touching. This pretending that's starting to feel less like pretending. I knew what I was getting into. I made a choice. I don't regret it. You might. When this gets worse. Then we'll deal with worse when it comes. That night I can't sleep. Keep thinking about what Grant said. About the marriage maybe not being valid. About Rose still being tied to a man who hurt her. About what that means for us. I get up, walk the house, find myself standing outside Rose's door. I shouldn't knock. Should go back to my room. Should maintain the distance we agreed on. But I knock anyway. Come in. She's sitting up in bed. Book in her lap. Candle burning on the nightstand. Can't sleep either? No. I lean against the doorframe. You want to talk about it? About which part? The part where my marriage to you might not be legal? Or the part where Howard is probably on his way here right now with lawyers and warrants? Either. Both. She closes the book, sets it aside. I'm scared, Cole. More scared than I've been since I left Boston. I know. What if he wins? What if the law says I have to go back? Then we'll find another way. What other way? I don't have an answer for that. Can't promise her something I might not be able to deliver. Can I tell you something? She asks. Anything. When I got on that train in Boston, I thought I was going to die. Thought Howard would find me before I got away, or that I'd get here and whoever I was supposed to marry would turn out to be just as bad. She looks at me, eyes bright with unshed tears. But then I fell in that snow, and you laughed. And for the first time in 4 years, I felt something other than afraid. I felt hope. The words hit me square in the chest. I don't want to lose that, she whispers. Don't want to lose this feeling of being safe. I cross the room, sit on the edge of her bed, take her hand between both of mine. You won't, I promise you that. You can't promise that. Watch me. She laughs. It's wet and shaky, but it's real. You're impossible. So I've been told. We sit there in the candlelight, her hand in mine, the house quiet around us. Cole? Yeah? Will you stay? Just for tonight? I don't want to be alone. Every reason to say no runs through my head. This is dangerous. This crosses lines we drew. This makes everything more complicated. But I nod anyway. Yeah, I'll stay. I settle into the chair by her bed. She blows out the candle. Darkness fills the room. Thank you, she whispers. For what? For being here. For being you. I don't know what to say to that. So I just sit there in the dark and listen to her breathing even out as she falls asleep. And I think about what she said, about hope, about feeling safe, about how somewhere in the last 3 weeks I started feeling those things too. A week passes, then another. No sign of Cord, no word from Boston. It's like the threat just vanished. But I know better. Men like Howard Dalton don't give up, they just regroup. Rose relaxes a little, starts smiling more. Her stutter almost disappears. She's becoming herself, the person she was before fear broke her. We fall into a rhythm that feels almost natural. She makes breakfast. I work in the shop. We eat lunch together. She reads in the afternoons while I work. We have dinner, talk by the fire, go to our separate rooms. Except more and more often, I find reasons to be in her space. Bringing her coffee while she reads, fixing a loose floorboard in her room, sitting with her while she sews. And she finds reasons to be in mine. Bringing me water while I work, organizing my tools, just sitting in the corner of the shop and watching me. It's getting harder to remember why we're supposed to stay separate. One evening, about a month after Cord's visit, we're sitting by the fire when Rose sets down her book. Cole? Can I ask you something? Sure. Do you still love her, Evelyn? The question should hurt, should feel like a betrayal just to ask, but it doesn't. Yes, Rose nods, like she expected that answer. Do you think you'll always love her? Yeah, I think I will. Does that mean there's no room for anyone else? I look at her, at the way the firelight catches in her hair, at the hope and fear warring in her eyes. I used to think so. Used to think loving Evelyn meant I couldn't love anyone else, that it would be a betrayal. And now? Now I think maybe love isn't finite. Maybe you can love someone you lost and still have room for someone new. Is that what this is? What we're doing? I don't know what this is. Neither do I. We sit in silence, but it's charged now, full of things neither of us is saying. I'm falling in love with you, Rose says suddenly. I know I shouldn't. I know this was supposed to be an arrangement, protection on paper, but I can't help it. My heart stops, then starts again too fast. Rose, you don't have to say anything. I just needed you to know, needed to be honest about what I'm feeling. This is complicated. I know. You're still technically married to Howard. I know that too. And I'm still grieving Evelyn. I'm not asking you to stop. I'm just asking if there's space for me alongside her. I stand up, walk to the window, stare out at the dark street. 3 years I've been alone. 3 years of grief and guilt and numbness. 3 years of just existing. And then Rose fell into my life. Literally fell, and made me laugh. And slowly, without meaning to, made me feel alive again. I don't know if I can do this, I say. Do what? Open up again. Risk caring about someone. Risk losing them. You're already risking it, whether you admit it or not. She's right. Damn her, she's right. What if something happens to you? What if Howard finds a way to take you back? What if we don't get a future together? She comes to stand beside me. Then at least we'll have had this, right now, this moment. That's not enough. Maybe not, but it's more than we had before. I turn to face her. She's so close. Close enough that I can see the gold flecks in her dark eyes. Close enough to count the freckles across her nose. This is a bad idea. Probably. We should maintain distance. Keep this professional. We probably should. Rose, kiss me, Cole. And God help me, I do. Her lips are soft. Hesitant at first, then sure. She tastes like the tea she had with dinner and something sweeter. Something that's just her. I pull her closer, feel her arms wrap around my neck, feel 3 years of ice start to crack. When we finally break apart, we're both breathing hard. That was, yeah. What do we do now? I don't know. We stand there, foreheads touching, hearts racing. I can't promise you forever, I say. I can't promise I won't mess this up or that my grief won't get in the way or that I'll be the husband you deserve. I'm not asking for promises. I'm asking for now, for today. for whatever we can have. That might not be much. It's more than I had yesterday. I kiss her again, slower this time, deeper, trying to tell her with actions what I can't say with words, that she matters, that this matters, that somewhere between protection and pretending, something real grew. We move to the couch. She curls into my side. I wrap my arm around her. We sit there in the firelight and don't talk about the future or the past or any of the complications. Just exist in this moment, together. I don't know how long we stay like that. An hour maybe, maybe more. Eventually, Rose's breathing evens out. She's fallen asleep against my shoulder. I should wake her, send her to her room, maintain some kind of boundary, but I don't. Just sit there holding her and thinking about how 3 weeks ago this would have been impossible. 3 weeks ago I was still locked in ice. Now I'm thawing. And it's terrifying and wonderful, and I don't know what to do with it. The knock on the door comes just after midnight. Rose jerks awake. What? Stay here. I go to the door. Open it to find Nash standing there. His face is grim. What's wrong? Riders came into town an hour ago, 3 of them, well-dressed, asking questions about Rose. My blood goes cold. Where are they now? Hotel. But Cole, one of them was asking if there's a judge in town, talking about legal proceedings. Hell. There's more. They've got papers, documents. I couldn't see what they said, but it looked official. Rose appears behind me. It's Howard. He's here. You don't know that. I know him. This is exactly what he'd do. Send lawyers ahead. Make everything legal. So when he comes to take me back, no one can stop him. We'll stop him. How? I don't have an answer. Not yet. Nash looks between us. There might be a way, but you're not going to like it. Tell me. Make the marriage real. All the way real. If you two are living as husband and wife in truth, not just on paper, it makes the case stronger. Makes it harder to argue this was just a sham to protect her. Rose's face goes red. Nash, we can't just... I'm not saying you have to do anything you're not ready for, but in the eyes of the law, a consummated marriage is stronger than one that's just on paper. I look at Rose. She looks at me. We need to think about this, I say. Don't think too long. Those men are going to the marshal in the morning. After Nash leaves, Rose and I stand in the front hall, not touching, not speaking. He's right, she says finally. Maybe. Cole, if we don't do this, if we can't prove this marriage is real, Howard will win. He'll take me back and everything we've done will be for nothing. I'm not going to pressure you into something you're not ready for. I'm not saying I'm ready, but I'm saying I understand what's at stake. We go back to the sitting room, sit on opposite ends of the couch. The easy intimacy from earlier is gone, replaced by awkwardness and tension. What do you want to do? I ask. I want to not go back to Boston. I want to stay here, with you. I want this to be real. It is real. Is it? Because sometimes I can't tell if you're playing a part or if you actually care. I care. Enough to fight for this? For us? I think about that, about what I'm willing to risk, what I'm willing to sacrifice. Yes. Then we make this real, all the way real. We stop pretending and we just be. Rose, I know you still love Evelyn. I'm not asking you to stop. I'm just asking you to make room for me too. She stands up, holds out her hand. Come with me. I take her hand, let her lead me upstairs to her room. She closes the door behind us, turns to face me in the moonlight streaming through the window. I'm scared, she whispers. So am I. Of Howard, of this, of what it means, of losing you after I've just found you. You won't lose me. You can't promise that. No, but I can promise right now, this moment. That's all we have anyway. She's right. Tomorrow Howard might come, might take her away, might destroy everything. But tonight, she's here. And I'm here. And maybe that's enough. I kiss her, slow and gentle. Pour everything I can't say into it, all the fear and hope and desperate need. She kisses me back just as fiercely. And for the first time in 3 years, I let myself feel, really feel. Let the ice crack and shatter. Let warmth flood in We move to the bed, slow, careful, learning each other. This isn't urgent or desperate. It's reverent, like we both understand how fragile this is, how precious. After, we lie tangled together, her head on my chest, my hand in her hair. Cole? Yeah? I love you. I know it's fast and I know it's complicated, but I do. The words should scare me, should send me running, but they don't. I think I love you too. I'm not sure what that looks like yet, but I think I do. She lifts her head, looks at me with tears in her eyes. That's enough. For now, that's enough. I pull her close, hold her like I can protect her from what's coming, like love is enough to fight the law and money and a man who thinks he owns her. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but we're going to find out. Morning comes too fast. We wake to pounding on the door, loud and official. Rose clutches my arm. It's them. Stay here. No, we face this together. We dress quickly, head downstairs. I open the door to find Marshal Grant with 3 men behind him. Well-dressed, expensive. Everything about them screams East Coast money. Cole, Grant says, apologetic. These men have papers. I have to let them speak. The tallest one steps forward. Mr. Winters, I'm attorney James Whitmore. I represent Howard Dalton of Boston. I'm here to retrieve his wife. She's not his wife anymore. She's mine. Actually, sir, she's not. Mr. Dalton and Mrs. Dalton are still legally married, which means your marriage to her is invalid. He holds out papers, legal documents, marriage certificate, everything proving that Rose is still Rose Dalton under the law. She left him. He beat her. That's a serious accusation. Do you have proof? She has bruises, scars, a doctor's testimony from a doctor in Boston who can't be subpoenaed out here, and bruises heal, Mr. Winters. Scars can come from anywhere. Rose steps forward. I'm not going back. You don't have a choice, Mrs. Dalton. You're still legally bound to your husband. He has every right to retrieve you. He'll kill me. That's quite dramatic, ma'am. Mr. Dalton assures me he only wants what's best for you. What's best for me is to never see him again. Whitmore's smile is cold. Be that as it may, the law is clear. You're his wife. You belong with him. She belongs with me, I say. Voice hard. Dangerous. Your marriage isn't legal, which means you have no claim to her. Then we'll make it legal. File for divorce on her behalf. That will take months. And in the meantime, she comes home with us, over my dead body. Mr. Winters, I'd advise against making threats. That won't help your case. Grant steps between us. Now hold on. There's got to be a way to work this out. There is. Mrs. Dalton comes with us, voluntarily, or we get a judge to issue a warrant and take her by force. Rose's hand finds mine, squeezes tight. I won't go. Then we'll come back with the warrant. They leave. The door closes. Rose collapses against me. What do? We fight? How? I don't know, but we figure it out. Nash arrives an hour later, then Ada, then Mrs. Patterson. Word has spread. The whole town knows what's happening. They gather in my sitting room, a war council. We could hide her, Nash suggests. Send her to the ranch outside town. They'd find her, Grant says, and then Cole would be charged with obstruction. What about the divorce? Ada asks. Can't we speed that up? Not without cooperation from Howard, and he's not going to cooperate. So we're just supposed to hand her over? I can't keep the rage out of my voice. I'm trying to find a legal way out of this, Cole, but the law isn't on our side. Rose has been quiet, just sitting there listening. Finally she speaks. What if I go back? No, I say immediately. Hear me out. What if I go back, file for divorce from Boston, use the doctors there as witnesses, build a real case that can't be ignored? He'll never let you leave again. Then I'll find a way. But at least I'll be doing it legally, fighting from inside the system instead of running from it. Rose, he'll hurt you, or worse. Maybe. But if I stay here, I put everyone in danger. You, Nash, this whole town. I won't do that. I don't care about the danger. I do. We stare at each other, and I see it in her eyes. She's already made up her mind. I'm not letting you go back alone. You can't come with me. Your life is here. My life is wherever you are. The words hang in the air, true and terrifying. Cole, I mean it. If you go back, I go with you. We fight this together, all the way. Tears stream down her face. That's insane. Probably. But I'm not losing you. Not now. Not after everything. What about your shop? Your home? Nash can watch the shop. The house will be here when we get back. If we get back. When? Not if. When? She launches herself at me, wraps her arms around my neck, buries her face in my shoulder. I love you, she whispers. I love you so much. I love you too. And I realize it's true. Somewhere between falling snow and burned breakfast and reading by firelight, I fell in love with my wife. My real wife. In every way that matters. 3 days later, we're on a train heading east. Back to Boston, back to face Howard Dalton and his lawyers and whatever hell is waiting. But we're facing it together. Rose sits beside me, hand in mine, watching the landscape roll by. Are you scared? She asks. Terrified. Me too. We'll get through this. How can you be sure? I turn to look at her, at this woman who fell into my life and broke through 3 years of ice, who made me laugh again, made me love again, made me want to live again. Because I didn't survive the last 3 years just to lose you now. We're going to fight, and we're going to win. And then we're going to go home. To Wyoming, to our house, to our life. She leans her head on my shoulder. That sounds perfect. The train carries us east, toward an uncertain future, toward battles we might not win. But we're together, and maybe, just maybe, that's enough. Because love isn't about certainty. It's about choosing someone even when the odds are against you. It's about standing beside them when the world says you should walk away. It's about a cowboy who forgot how to smile and a woman who tripped her way into his heart. It's about second chances and new beginnings and the thaw that comes after winter. And as the train speeds through the night, I hold my wife close and let myself hope. Hope that we'll win, that justice will prevail, that love will be enough. And for the first time in 3 years, I believe it just might be. The end is just the beginning, and our story isn't over yet, not by a long shot. We're packing our bags when the second knock comes. Harder this time, more insistent. Rose freezes. It's him! I move to the window, look out. A carriage sits in front of the house, expensive, out of place in Deadwood Creek. And standing on my porch is a man I've never met, but recognize immediately. Tall, well-dressed, handsome in that polished city way. Everything about him screams money and power and entitlement. Howard Dalton. Stay upstairs. No, Rose's voice is steady. No stutter. If he's here, I face him. Rose, together. You said we do this together. She's right. I nod. We go downstairs. I open the door. Howard's smile is cold, calculating. Mr. Winters, I presume. I'm Howard Dalton. I believe you have something that belongs to me. I don't have anything of yours. My wife would disagree. Rose steps into view. Howard's eyes lock onto her. Something ugly flashes across his face before the polite mask slides back into place. Rose, darling, you've led me on quite the chase. I'm not going back. Of course you are. We're married. You belong at home. This is my home now. Howard laughs. It's not a pleasant sound. You think marrying this frontier nobody changes anything? Our marriage still stands, which means his doesn't. The law says otherwise. Marshal Grant appears behind Howard. Must have seen the carriage. She's legally married to Cole Winters. Ceremony was performed right here in my office. Under fraudulent pretenses, she was already married. That makes this union invalid. Maybe, maybe not. That's for a judge to decide. Then let's get a judge. Howard's smile widens. I brought one with me. A fourth man steps out of the carriage, older, distinguished, wearing the robes of his office. Judge Morrison, from Cheyenne. He's agreed to hear this case immediately. My blood runs cold. This is what money buys. A judge willing to travel to the middle of nowhere to settle a domestic dispute. This is highly irregular, Grant protests, but entirely legal, unless you'd prefer to drag this out for months while my wife lives in sin with another man. Rose's hand finds mine, squeezes tight. Fine, I say. Let's settle this now. An hour later, we're in the town hall. Half of Deadwood Creek has crowded in to watch. Nash stands beside me. Ada sits with Rose, the whole town choosing sides. Judge Morrison sits at the front, expression neutral. Whitmore, the lawyer, stands to present Howard's case. Your Honor, this is a simple matter. Rose Dalton married Howard Dalton in Boston 3 years ago. That marriage was never dissolved. Therefore, her subsequent marriage to Cole Winters is invalid. We ask that you order her to return home with her legal husband. Mr. Winters, do you have representation? No, Your Honor, just the truth. Then speak it. I stand, look at Howard, at his smug face, at the way he thinks he's already won. Rose came here because Howard beat her for years. She has scars, bruises. A doctor in Boston told her if she stayed, he'd kill her, so she left. Found a way to start over, to be safe. That's a lie, Howard interrupts. Rose has always been fragile, prone to accidents. I tried to help her, but she refused treatment. Treatment? Rose's voice cuts through the room. She stands, walks to the front, rolls up her sleeves. The courtroom goes silent. Her arms are covered in scars, some old, some newer, a roadmap of violence. These aren't accidents, these are fingerprints. Where he grabbed me, held me down, broke my arm twice, cracked 3 ribs, gave me a concussion that left me unable to speak properly for weeks. Her voice doesn't waver. The stutter is gone, replaced by cold fury. I have a doctor's report, documenting everything, including the time he pushed me down the stairs and I lost consciousness for 2 days. Whitmore tries to object. Your Honor, this is hearsay. We have no proof. I have proof. A new voice from the back. Everyone turns. An older man in a dark suit walks down the aisle. Dr. Edmund Cross, from Boston. I treated Mrs. Dalton for 4 years. I have detailed records of every injury, every visit, every time I begged her to leave before he killed her. He sets a thick folder on the judge's bench. It's all there, dates, injuries, my medical opinions. If you want proof, Your Honor, here it is. The judge opens the folder, reads. His face grows darker with each page. Howard shifts. For the first time, he looks uncertain. Your Honor, Whitmore says quickly, even if these allegations are true, it doesn't change the legal reality. They're still married. Which means, actually, another voice interrupts, they're not. A woman enters, middle-aged, severe, carrying her own folder. Catherine Wells, attorney from Boston. I represent the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and I have evidence that Howard Dalton's marriage to Rose Dalton was obtained under fraudulent circumstances. The courtroom erupts. The judge bangs his gavel. Explain! Mr. Dalton was already married when he wed Rose, to a woman in New York, Eleanor Hastings. They wed in 1873, never divorced, which means his marriage to Rose was bigamous, illegal, and therefore void. Every eye turns to Howard. His face has gone white. That's not... I have the marriage certificate, witness statements. Eleanor Hastings is still alive, still considers herself Mrs. Dalton. She's the one who hired me when she heard Howard was trying to retrieve another woman he'd illegally married. The judge looks at Howard with undisguised disgust. Mr. Dalton, is this true? Howard opens his mouth, closes it, opens it again. I can explain. Save it. Marshal, place this man under arrest for fraud, bigamy, and based on this medical evidence, assault. Grant moves forward with handcuffs. Howard tries to bolt. Nash tackles him. They go down hard. The courtroom explodes into chaos. People shouting, moving, Howard yelling threats as Grant hauls him to his feet. You can't do this. I have rights. I have money. I'll bury all of you. You'll be buried in a cell, the judge says coldly, where you belong. They drag Howard out. He's still screaming, still threatening, still believing money will save him. The judge turns to Rose. His expression softens. Mrs. Winters, your marriage to Howard Dalton is hereby annulled on grounds of bigamy. You're free of him, legally and in every other way. Rose sways. I catch her, hold her up. Furthermore, your marriage to Cole Winters is valid and binding. In the eyes of the law and this court, you are husband and wife. He bangs the gavel. Case dismissed. The room erupts in cheers. Ada hugs Rose. Nash slaps my back. People I barely know congratulate us. But I only have eyes for Rose, for the tears streaming down her face, for the smile breaking through. It's over, she whispers. It's really over. Yeah, it's over. She throws her arms around my neck, buries her face in my shoulder. Her whole body shakes with sobs. I hold her. Let her cry. Let years of fear and pain pour out. When she finally pulls back, her eyes are red but clear. What happens now? Now we go home, and we live. That night the whole town celebrates. Someone breaks out fiddles. Someone else provides whiskey. The street fills with music and dancing and laughter. Rose and I stand on the edge of it all, watching, together. Dance with me, she says. I don't dance. You do now. She pulls me into the street, into the circle of dancers. I'm clumsy, haven't danced since Evelyn, but Rose guides me, patient, smiling when I step on her feet. You're terrible at this, she laughs. So are you. We're perfect together then. We are. Perfectly imperfect. Both broken in our own ways. Both healing. The music swells. Rose leans her head against my chest. We sway more than dance, but it's enough. Cole? Thank you for fighting for me, for believing me, always. We dance until the stars come out, until the music slows, until it's just us and the night and the promise of tomorrow. Later, lying in bed with Rose curled against my side, I think about how far we've come, from strangers to spouses to something real. What are you thinking about, she asks. About the day you fell in that snow, how ridiculous you looked, how I laughed for the first time in 3 years. I looked ridiculous. You did, still do sometimes. She swats my chest. Rude. True. She's quiet for a moment. Then, do you still think about her, Evelyn? Every day. Does it hurt? Less than it used to. Now it's more like remembering someone I loved, someone who was important. But the grief isn't eating me alive anymore. Because of me? Because of you. Because you showed me I could love someone new without betraying someone old. She kisses my shoulder. I'm glad I fell in that snow. So am I. We drift toward sleep, safe and together, free. Spring comes early to Deadwood Creek. Snow melts, flowers bloom. The world turns green again. I'm in the shop working on a saddle when Rose appears in the doorway. She's gotten better at walking. Doesn't trip as much, but she still has her moments, like now. She catches her foot on the threshold, stumbles, catches herself. Still clumsy, I say without looking up. Always will be. I set down my tools, turn to look at her properly. She's beautiful, hair loose around her shoulders, face bright with sun, and her belly round with our child, 6 months along. A boy, the midwife thinks, due in summer. How are you feeling? Fat? Tired? Happy? I cross to her, put my hand on her belly, feel the baby kick. Strong, I say. Takes after his father. Clumsy like his mother. Probably. We stand there, my hand on her stomach, her hand over mine, creating life where there was only loss. I was thinking, Rose says, if it's a boy, maybe we name him Nathan, after Nash. He'd never let us hear the end of it. Probably not, but he saved us. In his own meddling way, she's right. Nash's interference brought us together, started everything. Nathan it is then. And if it's a girl, I think about that, about names, about the daughter I lost 3 years ago, the one I barely got to hold. Evelyn, I say quietly. We name her Evelyn. Rose's eyes fill with tears. Are you sure? Yeah, I want her name to live on, want our daughter to carry it. If that's okay with you, it's more than okay. It's perfect. Someone clears their throat behind us. We turn to find Nash standing there, grinning like a fool. Sorry to interrupt, but you're not going to believe this. He holds up a letter, waves it. What is it? Remember how I told you, Margaret? How I wrote those letters? How I found Rose through an agency? Yeah? Well, the agency wrote back, said they have another woman, someone who needs help, fresh start, all that. He looks embarrassed, hopeful, young. They asked if I knew anyone who might be interested. Nash, are you thinking what I think you're thinking? Maybe. It worked out pretty well for you, Rose laughs, full and bright. Do it, write her. You never know what might happen. She might fall off a train platform, make you laugh, turn your whole life upside down. Exactly, Nash grins. All right then, I'll write her. He leaves, still grinning, already composing his letter. Rose turns to me. Do you think he'll be as lucky as you? Nobody could be that lucky. I got you. Smooth talker, just honest. We walk back to the house, slow, careful of her balance. When we reach the porch, she stops. What? I ask. Look at us. 1 year ago I was running for my life. You were locked in grief. And now? Now we're here, together, happy, about to have a baby. It feels like a dream. Good dreams are real too. Are they? This one is. I pull her close. Kiss her soft and slow, taste spring on her lips. When we break apart, she's smiling. That smile that makes my chest ache in the best way. I love you, Cole Winters. I love you too, Rose Winters. We go inside, home, where Rose burns dinner only occasionally now, where her books line the shelves, where our life together fills every corner. That evening, sitting by the fire, Rose reading while I work leather, I think about everything that's changed. 3 years ago, I thought my life was over. Thought I'd never smile again, never love again, never feel anything but empty. Then a woman fell in the snow, looked absolutely ridiculous, and cracked something open inside me. She taught me that grief doesn't have to be forever, that loving someone new doesn't erase loving someone old, that broken people can heal each other, that laughter matters, that clumsiness can be endearing, that sometimes the best things come from the most unexpected places. Cole? Rose looks up from her book. Yeah? What are you smiling about? I didn't even realize I was, but I am. Wide and genuine and real. Just thinking about how you fell in that snow, how ridiculous you looked. You're never going to let me forget that, are you? Not as long as I live. She throws a pillow at me, misses. It hits the lamp instead. The lamp wobbles. I catch it before it falls. Still clumsy, always. And we laugh, together, in our home, in our life. The winter is over. Spring has come. And the snow that once fell silent now melts into something new, something beautiful, something ours. 3 months later, on a hot July morning, our son enters the world. Nathan Cole Winters, 8 pounds, healthy lungs. His mother's dark eyes and his father's stubborn chin. I hold him for the first time and feel something break open inside me. Not the breaking of grief, the breaking of joy. Of love so fierce it hurts. Rose lies in bed, exhausted and radiant. What do you think? I think he's perfect. He looks like you. Poor kid. She laughs. Tired, but happy. Bring him here. I place Nathan in her arms. Watch them together. My wife and my son, my family. And I think about Evelyn, about the daughter we lost, about how I thought that was the end of everything. But it wasn't the end. It was just a chapter closing so another could begin. I still love Evelyn, always will. But my heart has room for Rose too, room for Nathan, room for this new life we're building. Love isn't finite. It multiplies, grows, expands to fill whatever space you give it. Cole? Rose says softly. Yeah? We did it. We made it through. We did. Was it worth it? The fight, the fear, all of it? I look at her, at our son, at the life we've built from broken pieces, every single second. Outside, the sun climbs higher. The day stretches ahead, full of possibility, full of promise. And somewhere in the distance, I hear Nash's voice calling, laughing about something. Probably his new mail-order bride who arrived last week. probably falling for her just as hard and fast as I fell for Rose. Some stories end, others begin, and the best ones keep going, one moment at a time, one day at a time, one laugh at a time. This is ours, and it's just getting started. The woman who fell in the snow, the man who forgot how to smile. Together, they found something neither was looking for. They found home. They found healing. They found each other. And in the end, that was everything. The end.